Welcome in. Today's new drug is bad news on the portal front, and I don't like it.
Wow.
I don't like it a bit.
Yeah.
Carlyon. You know
Cuts to the core today for both the Gators and the Noles.
Yeah, I am two totally different situations. The Jack Paburn's leaving. I blame the bowl school and everybody I know who went to the bowl school.
I think that's fair.
Or at least some of the people I know who went to the bowl school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding. Jack Piburn, though, is in the transfer portal. We'll certainly talk about that. Luke Kromenhoek, who I thought looked really good in the other against the Gators, watching them up close and personal, also in the transfer portal. Boy, and maybe it's this way a lot, not just those two guys, Hays. Gosh, it seems like it's a busy portal these days. Is it? Is there more than ever? Does it feel like? Or they're more just announcing than ever? Or is Hayes Fawcett more busy than ever? Something like you know what I mean?
I think the ratio's gone up each year, and it now seems like if you've got 85 guys on scholarship, you should expect at least 20 of those guys to probably put their name in the portal, and so. It comes down to the impact that they're going to have on your future. Pyburn's the first one that I would say, that certainly stings Florida, because to me, he's been the backbone of that defensive resurgence. I mean, when Pyburn, was inserted into the lineup about a third of the way through the season, you really started to see a difference. He's a monster coming off the edge, setting the edge, plays with a lot of power, obviously had the strip sack against FSU. It's a loaded room at Florida, and I think it just comes down to it's college football is becoming like the NFL, and we hear NFL general managers say it all the time. We'd like to keep everybody, but there is a market, and and we can only pay so many people. I'm sure Pyburn was getting something, but with a player coming off the season that he had, goes into the portal. He's probably going to get substantially more. And, and who knows what, maybe he was concerned with it being a crowded room, what his playing time would be. He's got one more year left. But it's just sad because he's a guy to me that could have been a great Gator legacy player, the kind of guy that you introduced last on Senior Day next year.
It's funny you brought up Senior Day. You're ahead, you haven't looked at my notes, but you're one step ahead of where I'm going to go. I got a lot of thoughts on this, but keep going.
No, it's just, I think it's one of those things. I think 20 years from now, if Billy Napier's tenure ends up becoming something of consequence and championships, then I think you look back at that turnaround, and obviously DJ Lagway will be the face of it. But I think on the defensive side of the ball, Jack Pyburn would have been right there. So you're talking about, a legacy, particularly if you're going to live in Jacksonville if that's what you're planning on, or live in the state of Florida. To have that legacy, I think is invaluable. And now, leaving to go to wherever he's going to go to, you lose all that because now you're just a guy that left Florida and didn't finish as a Gator. So, I understand it. I'm sure from a business standpoint, Jack Pyburn's going to get enough money where he can buy a house and he can have a nice head start on adulthood. This one was a surprise because you just felt like, you see Billy Napier in the post game, victory speeches and in the locker room post game. Pyburn's like right next to him in all of them. He's clearly a leader on the team, and so anyway, it's unfortunate, but that's where we are. It's free agency in college football.
All right, I'm going to start the program with my thoughts on all of that. I'll get to it in a second. We will talk some Jags. I want to ask Jaguar fans, and we'll start it. What do you want to see? What do you want to see in these last four games? What are you rooting for? And if you're saying I'm rooting for losses because of coaches and this and draft picks, well, that's not where I'm going. But I want to ask you what you want to see, and be thinking about that, folks. What do people want to see specifically? Who do you want to see more of? Gus and I did one of the Mia's digital department she put together. It does such a good job here, and I know you've been on with Gus and Mia at different times too, talking about the Jaguars. And so Gus asked me, who are the three players you are most excited about? It was a good question. So we went through 6 or 7 players. So, but I want to ask. I want to ask you and make the point. What do people want to see? So we'll certainly get to that. I got a thought about baseball. I'm going to get to JJ. I wonder, and obviously I've complained often about no salary cap, but I wonder as the disparity continues to get bigger, will we still see every now and then the Royals, the Rays win a World Series, or is that over? It was the Yankees and the Dodgers this year, So I'll get to that later on, but. You know what I mean, JJ? It's just there's always been the haves and the have-nots. but the haves have so much more than the have-nots now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't agree with you. I mean, last year we had a World Series that was completely different than that. It's like two teams that are middle of the road or below in payroll. So I've never bought into the we need a salary cap. I'm never going to agree with that.
No, and you don't need to.
We have in football we have a salary cap. We have the same team win every year. In the NBA we have a hard cap. We have basically the same teams every single year. Sometimes the same two teams all the time. In baseball, we don't, and we have not had a repeat winner since the year 2000 in 1999. So I don't buy into that. I won't for a long time.
All fair points, and I respect your opinion on it. That again, I feel the other way because I can't find any logic that says why is anything other than how is it not logical for all teams to spend the same amount of money? I can't find any logic. But again, that's a conversation for another day. My point is, I wonder if the disparity will get bigger. But your point's good. Last year it wasn't two money teams; it was two middle of the pack teams. So, but I'm going to make that point. We'll get to it later on in the program. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So a lot of things to get to today. A Duval County Scholar athlete stops by in just a bit. Matt Hays comes by at the top of the hour to talk SEC football or SEC overall. Here's my point about the portal and today in the Jack Pyburn thing. And first of all, Pyburn's interesting because it's a Gator guy and it's a guy from here. First of all, for Jack, and I want to be this clear. Hey, good for him. This is a kid, by all accounts, a workaholic. Didn't have a ton of offers. Worked his way into that Gator offer. Wasn't expected by people down there, I can tell you that, to be a big impact player. Worked so hard that he became that. Blew out his knee. Came back from it in about a week. He's an ultimate worker, ultimate good person, ultimate good guy. And if he wants to leave and go do something different, more power to him. Any comment I have now is not ripping the kid. I'll never rip a kid for doing what they think is right and what they want to do. So I applaud them for doing what's good and right. Having said that, let me be very clear about this. Jack Pyburn leaving is everything that's wrong with NIL. Because I will tell you this. Something chased him off. He was a lifelong Gator. He always wanted to play there. He played there. He's a starter, so it's not playing time. It's not starting. He's starting. Like you said, he loves Napier's right next to him. Now he's leaving. Something chased him off. It could only be one thing. When they started divvying up NIL money, he didn't get his share. And I don't know that. I don't pretend to know that. But at some point, common sense tells you that that's the reason you left, is because I'm guessing some defensive ends got more money than he did. He didn't get his fair share. There's a belief out there that whether it's Texas A&M or whoever, someone will give him more, and he goes to get more. He should not be in that position. This is a kid who was a Gator fan his whole life. You said exactly what I was going to say. Can you imagine senior day for him next year? They'd have blown the roof off that place, and it doesn't have a roof on it. Jack Pyburn is what senior day is for. When Princely Umanmielen, who left last year, is probably a better player than Jack Pyburn. He's probably a first-round draft pick. I don't think Jack's that. But I didn't think twice about it because it's a guy from Texas, and he came to Florida, and Florida wasn't very good. And he wanted to. I get it. Make a bunch of money, don't miss. When Trevor Etienne left, everybody was all up in arms. I really wasn't. His kid's from Louisiana. One of the reasons he came here is to be close to his brother. I'm assuming the mom moved as well. He didn't like it. He wasn't starting. He wanted to go to Georgia and chase a ring. All right, okay. None of those kind of had a big effect on me. Luke Kromenhoek, I hate to see him leave for FSU's sake, but he's from Savannah. I don't think he grew up a Florida State fan. He grew up in Georgia, so. But Pyburn's a Gator fan. Pyburn is a guy that is supposed to be. He is one of the great Cinderella stories ever, and he became that at Florida, and. He would have been. You hit all the right notes, Hayes. How adored he would have been in his last year. What that senior day would have been like. That kid would have never bought a drink or paid for a drink the rest of his life in this state. That kid could have named his job, and maybe he can't anyway. Maybe his job will be in the NFL. He's a good player, but something chased him off, and that's a shame. And that's the shame of it is that the NIL. I've got to believe that there's schools out there that he thinks will pay him more in NIL, and B, he didn't get as much as somebody else at Florida. I have to believe that. I have to believe the fact that this came one day after Caleb Banks, who by all accounts should have tested the draft, not necessarily declared, but by all accounts, Caleb Banks, and I made this point yesterday, should have gone to the draft review. The NFL does a really good job of giving these guys a pretty good understanding of where they're going to be taken. And from what I'm told, they're really accurate. If you're trying to test the draft waters and you're not sure what to do, and the NFL says you're probably a mid-third rounder, you're pretty much going in the mid-third round. It's really amazing how accurate they are from everything I'm being told. So it's crazy that Caleb Banks didn't test the water. As a fan, I'm elated that he didn't. But as a guy that watches football objectively as best I can, but the fact that he didn't test the waters tells me he got a check, a bag. Let me say something. Let me sound cool. He got a bag.
Right,
okay, he got a bag. Okay, so JJ, that sound cool?
That was cool.
Okay.
Now,
good.
do you think he's going? Obviously, you think he's taking more money, but do you think he's going to a program that's like sort of on the same level as Florida right now, or lesser than?
I would think
Pittsburgh
same level.
Yeah, I would say he's a good player. I would say same level. And listen,
like an Ole Miss or
Texas A&M.
Yeah, everyone thinks A&M is kind of poaching the Florida players because they had some coaches that used to be there. So we'll see if that happens. But I think the same one is where he's going to wind up. And listen, I'm guessing. I don't want to misrepresent this as some inside info. I don't have any on this. But this kid never dreamed of not finishing at Florida. I can promise you that. There's no time did Jack Pyburn ever say, let me get some good years behind me so I can wind up at Ohio State. I'm just telling you. Just from everything you've heard about this guy couldn't wait to get down there, couldn't wait to wear that orange and blue. And he should be there for senior day next year. And he now will know. And right now he made, I'm guessing, a monetary decision, but he'll never have that now. Now he'll have a senior day at Texas A&M or Ohio State,
and he'll get a tepid applause.
And he'll get
assuming he doesn't have 12 and a half sacks.
Yeah. But even if he does, he'll get a night. But the point is, when it's over, it won't be like he had here. And I sound like angry Gator because he's not going to be on my team. That's really not what I'm saying. I would say the same thing if this was a kid that grew up in Madison who was going to Florida State. I'd say the same thing if it's a kid that grew up in Palm Beach and was going to Miami, that you knew was a Miami, who was a Kane fan from the get-go. That's what's wrong with NIL.
Now, do you think it's an NIL? You said that before. Do you think it's an NIL problem or more of a transfer portal problem?
Well, good point. Both together.
They work in tandem.
Yeah, I think my guess is when they started handing out NIL checks this week, his wasn't as big as others. And his wasn't as big as he hoped it would be.
And for a guy like him who doesn't exactly have like a first-round career, like $2 million or $1 million
big difference
compared to whatever $500K that he might get at Florida is life-changing.
That's exactly right. And I know and so and again, I want to say this one more time so I don't misrepresent it. I don't know any of that, but something had to happen. When this kid leaves, when this kid that grew up Gator guy leaves before his senior year, when you are really the big man on campus, when you are really the guy. So, and again, I don't pretend to know more than I know, but something doesn't add up here. It just doesn't.
Well, I mean, again, you've got Sapp and Gums that are also seniors. You've got TJ Searcy, Cameron James, LJ McCray.
All really good players.
And then, of course, they signed two edge players just last week, one of which is a top 60 player in the country. It's probably asking a lot for a true freshman to come in. But the point is, it's a talented room. And who knows in the exit interview just from the season, who knows what Billy Napier told him. I would imagine Napier would have, really, expressed his affection for Jack Pyburn because I do think he had a lot to do with the turnaround. And I would imagine that Billy Napier is surprised by this. But, Billy Napier may have said, Jack, look, love you. You've had an unbelievable effect on this team. But if you're, and again, not that Jack was looking for guarantees, but just laying it out there for him,
right.
Who knows what the role was going to be next year. So, again, it definitely stings because I loved watching Jack Pyburn. I thought he brought just, and I say this in the best way possible, just a maniacal style of play to that defense. And I do think that mindset, I do think it trickled down to the other 10 on the field. And I think Jack Pyburn was a big reason why the Florida defense started to play with the intensity that they did. So it's a loss. I mean, he'll be a great asset for wherever he ends up. But, Florida's roster is still, in development. But the one room where they're pretty loaded is edge.
Yeah, and again, I don't pretend to know the details, but I will tell you this. If he left Florida, he didn't get the dollar figure he wanted. And I don't even know that. I'm just telling you. Common
Which is a
sense.
shame that because again you're still relying on
or the guarantee that he wanted of some sort.
Yeah, and that's the thing because I mean, boy, if I was Billy Napier and I needed an extra, couple $100,000, to shake the tree,
right?
I mean, if I was Billy Napier, I'd be picking up the phone and saying, "Look, we need a little bit more here. This is a guy that this guy needs to finish as a Gator."
Yeah.
And anyway, so it's it's. Free agency has arrived in college football.
And again, if he winds up with way more money, the life-changing money, to JJ's point, that he wouldn't get at Florida, so be it. What I hope for the kid, and again, I'm not faulting the kid. I want to be very clear about this. Hey, that's your choice, man. But what I hope for him is he doesn't look up. It didn't turn into an ego thing. And five years from now, when he doesn't have that senior day at Florida, when he doesn't have that senior year at Florida, when you are the senior, I hope it doesn't bother. But anyway, hey, he's a good player, and this is nothing about Florida's got a bunch of good players at that position. They'll be fine at that position. He'll be good somewhere, and I hope he does great wherever he goes. And I mean that very sincerely. He's a kid that's earned every bit of it, man. The work ethic and everything. It's what's wrong with NIL and portal as I see it. All right, we got a lot to talk about that in the program. We have got a Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week that comes up in just a bit. We'll talk about Jaguars and what do you want to see from the Jaguars? What are you hoping to see as the Jaguars move along? We got a lot of stuff on the table today. Glad you're with us. It's 1010XL at 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He's fearless in the face of danger when entering enemy territory.
What is your mission?
Get insights and interviews from Jags beat reporter Hays Carlyon when he takes you behind enemy lines. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, or other pests invading your home? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. Right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the football season. Also, enter their Swat That Kick Jaguars promotion at Jaguars.com for a chance to win 3 years of free pest defense. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. Lauren Brooks here as your hometown Mazda dealer. Their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new car purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Plan. Visit Hodges Mazda online at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today during Mazda's A Season to Move You event and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. Woolsey Morecambe is your MVP in the legal game. Our team of skilled attorneys tackle personal injury cases with compassion and expertise. With fumbles like a car or truck accident, we're here to seek the compensation you deserve. Right here in Jacksonville, we've successfully won over $100 million and earned a championship-worthy record. When it's game time, you want a team that plays to win. Contact Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY. Offices, Jacksonville.
Protect your home with Tyson Sound and Security. Denny Thompson here. Porch pirates are on the prowl. But with their smart doorbell camera, you'll see who's at your door whether you're home or not. Tyson's smart doorbell camera gives you peace of mind detecting people and packages, keeping your family and belongings safe all season long. Call Tyson Sound and Security today for holiday savings on cameras and home security systems. Enjoy a worry-free holiday with Tyson Sound and Security.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
It's holiday time at Best Bet St. Augustine and Orange Park. Get ready for thrilling promotions and tournaments all month long. Don't miss the 12 days of Christmas high hands with over $330,000 in payouts and the Clockwork Cash Out Table Games promotion, giving away $300 in cash every 15 minutes on select weekends. Celebrate the season with nonstop excitement at Best Bet. For all the details, head over to bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
It's the Gator Podcast Channel with Frank Frangie and me, Dan Hicken, on all things Gators. Hacker and Denny Thompson have Gator Bites, and you can find them wherever you find podcasts or at 1010XL.com. Presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold & Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold & Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold & Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
The Money Pages brings you the Red Zone featured player of the week. Number 1, Jaguars running back Travis Etienne Jr. Travis played college ball for the Clemson Tigers and was drafted by the Jags in the first round in 2021. Pick up this week's Jags game program with a commemorative ticket of Travis Etienne inside. Download the Money Pages app for weekly specials. Money Pages, official sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
My name's Jim. I'm 53 years old. There should be options in life, like ways to lose weight. Medications now feel like the only option. I mean, it sounds like a guarantee. I do have friends who have lost weight with them. I tried holding off. I did other diets, but I was miserable. I'd rather be fat and happy. The problem was I wasn't happy fat. I was about to start the meds, but then I heard of Awaken 180's GLP-1 program. Turned out it does the same thing as the meds without injecting myself for life. It absolutely worked. I dropped 45 pounds. I'm now in maintenance, and I feel better than my friends who are still on the meds. Listen, I barely know what GLP-1 is. What I do know is Awaken 180 worked for me, and I was far from miserable doing it.
Thanks, Jim. You all know our success with Awaken 180, and now with Awaken 180's GLP-1 Balance, you address the root causes of weight issues. Do it naturally, then keep it off. Awaken180weightloss.com. If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort and clean air.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. And now, this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
All right, it is time for our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. It's Anastasia Rogers from Paxton. How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you. Doing fine. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anastasia plays basketball, flag football, cross country, and track. But I got to tell a story. You like basketball. You like the others. But you got a little pep in your step when you talked about flag football, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
That's your favorite, isn't it?
That's my favorite.
Why is it?
It's playing cornerback is very fun. Like the competition and like seeing the wide receiver so mad. Like if you pick off the ball, you got a flag. They just be so mad. I just like it. It makes me excited.
Do you have a favorite game that you can tell us about?
My favorite game is against Atlantic Coast for districts. I believe last year I was coming off an ACL injury and I was top in the state the year before, but I had hurt my ACL. So I was playing this girl. I was guarding this girl. She's like 6'2", I believe, and I'm 5'3". And I had knocked the ball at her arm. She was so mad. She was so
she
mad.
wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, she was not happy. She thought it was like cause in flag you can't knock the ball out. Like you can't do that. So she thought she caught it, and then I knocked it out. But I knocked it out while she caught it. So I don't know why she was doing that.
Incomplete pass. What? No, tell me about basketball a little bit. Play basketball too. How long have you done that?
I've been doing that for like 6 years, since 6th grade.
Okay, so tell me about basketball. What do you play, and tell me all about that.
I play shooting guard mainly and point guard. It's really fun. I just like, my main thing about it is defense. To be honest, I just love playing defense on people. I don't know why. Defense just really makes me excited. So
I can tell. She's excited.
Absolutely. And flag football, you're hoping will be part of your college experience, correct?
Yes, sir. I want to go to Alabama State once they get a coach, because they started flag football for the 2025 season.
That's I didn't even know that was a thing in a lot of colleges. So you've been thinking about playing flag football at the college level.
Yes, sir. Yes,
what are some other schools you're considering?
My dream school is Howard University in DC.
Yeah.
But I also is trying to apply to Johns Hopkins, because I want to be a surgical oncologist, and as well as Brown University. So.
Those are really good schools. Obviously,
yes,
you're a really good student, so that makes sense. But tell me more about that. You want to be a surgical oncologist. How did you come up? How'd you land there? Tell me about that.
So basically, I always wanted to be like in the medical field, and I didn't really want to do nursing, and I wanted to do something like hands-on. So surgery really caught my eye. So now I want to be a plastic surgeon, but then over the years, I was like, now I want to do something that like actually helps people. So I decided to be a surgical oncologist.
That is really cool.
It is, absolutely. So tell us more about playing D1 flag football. If it works out, how does it, in terms of how many people are on the team? How many games do you play? Like all that fun stuff.
I'm not really sure how college flag is going to work, because and it's D1, so I know we're going to be playing like NAIA and JUCO teams, but the fact that it's D1 is really big, and it's going to be like the first D1 school, and it's the HBCU, so I feel like that it's like a lot of accolades that go with it, and it just it's really cool.
And you get a chance to build a program from scratch,
yes,
which would be really cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, final thing here. Obviously, you're very involved as a school. You're obviously involved in a bunch of clubs. You make great grades. Why has Paxton been special for you, your career at Paxton?
Paxton been very special because it helps me with like my time management, and it gets me, I feel like it got me ready for college. So I feel like once I get into college, I'll be okay. So I don't have to really stress about anything, because Paxton was already hard enough. So
I get it. Anastasia Rogers, our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. You know what? I think it did get you ready, because you're sharp. You're going to do very well. Congratulations. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much.
All right. Anastasia Rogers. She is our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. She's going to be good. I can tell you that. She's going to be a surgical oncologist. You can just tell. You know that?
Absolutely.
You can just tell.
And she's going to be a lockdown corner.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
She already is.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either. Yeah. That's really cool.
It really is cool. So congratulations to Anastasia Rogers. Okay, after our break, we're going to talk some Jaguar football. What do you want to see as we move forward with the Jaguars? But let's finish up our thoughts on the transfer portal. Luke Kromenhoek, I didn't get to that first because we spent time talking about the Pyburn thing. I wouldn't lie. Again, it's different. It's not a kid who grew up being a Seminole and he was there 1 year, but he's a good player. I got to tell you, I told Denny Thompson, because Denny knows him and he's one of the many that Denny and his group have worked with. I told Denny when I watched Florida, and I told you this too, after the Florida State-Florida game, the one thing that impressed me the most about FSU was him. You weren't quite as taken as I was. We had to talk on the air. But I think he might be really good. I mean, I think he's going to wind up, and you know, it's a shame for FSU to lose a player that good, that I think is going to be that good. But this is a guy that whether he pops up at South Carolina, Clemson, Georgia, or out of the region somewhere, I mean, I can see why he was an Elite 11 guy. He's a good player.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think he played particularly well that night, but I do think he's got a great skill set and a great future, and he's obviously very tough. So I would not be surprised if Luke Kromenhoek, we've talked about this, there is not a bevy of returning quarterbacks. When you look at Oregon's going to lose their quarterback, Georgia's losing theirs, Ole Miss is losing theirs. I think Ohio State is losing theirs. So as you go through it, there's obviously Colorado as well. So when you go through it, there's a lot of and not all those schools are power schools, but some of them are in terms of the elite of the elite. I think Kromenhoek has an excellent opportunity to get an offer of significant consequence. Now, obviously, Florida State, from a brand standpoint, it's harder to do better than Florida State in the college realm, but from a win immediately, from a have a good environment in terms of the talent around you, it makes sense for Luke Kromenhoek because Florida State is probably, I would think, a year or two away from probably being. I mean, it's hard to predict, but coming off a 2-10 season, and I mean, he got battered against Florida. Again, his toughness is certainly not in question. I think he carried it like 23 times in the game for 26 yards. He's agile. He's got good acceleration. And so obviously those sack numbers went against him. But he showed, I thought, incredible toughness, and he has shown good arm strength and accuracy. So I mean, I think it's devastating for the Seminoles.
Well, he probably wouldn't have beat out Thomas Castellanos, who they just got. Yeah, I think that has a ton to do with it.
Really? See, I think he would have beaten him out in
I think he would have easily. I don't know. I mean, Castellanos lost his job at BC.
Right.
Sort of.
Yeah. I think Castellanos is a nice.
He's been around, though.
He has experience. He's an older guy.
There's a lot to say for that. Most of these quarterbacks who are
I'll
good
say
are like
this.
20-plus
Shame
years
on
old.
Mike Norvell if bringing in Castellanos chased off Kromenhoek.
Well, and all of this, if Kromenhoek couldn't be, and Castellanos has some good games. He's a Waycross kid. He's from nearby, and he certainly played well against them. If Kromenhoek couldn't beat him out, then I'm way wrong about Kromenhoek. I think there's really something there with Kromenhoek. So we'll see. But he's on his way out. We'll take a break. Let's talk some Jaguar football after this. What do you want to see in these Final Four games? That's our topic. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harold & Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident, and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold & Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold & Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
Pick it here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of About 9. Visit About 9 Associates today and experience the difference. About 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Homeowners, listen up. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Hey, it's Prosser here, and the Fed has dropped the rates again. The election is over, and Loan Pronto has APRs in the low fives for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans. If your current mortgage rate is over 6%, or if you're in the process with another lender, don't settle. Call Loan Pronto now for a second opinion. Lock a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. And if you act now, you won't make your first payment till February. This 5-minute call saves homeowners an average of $5,000, lower rates and lower fees. So get your Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. It's Loan Pronto. Call them at 904-999-1508, or you can visit loanpronto.com. That's Loan Pronto at 904-999-1508, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL celebrates high scorers.
1010XL and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists celebrate scholar athletes.
In class and on the court.
Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. Wednesdays on the Frangie Show.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. Since 1928, people have admired diamond solitaire necklaces and ear studs that we've hand-selected and put together because of the way they dance and sparkle on a lady's neck or ear. And now, through Christmas, Underwoods is putting all of our diamond solitaire necklaces and ear studs on sale at 15% below our everyday price. We also take trade-ins on these pieces of jewelry, so if you're thinking about growing a diamond solitaire necklace or a pair of diamond studs up to a larger size, this is the ideal time to come see us. To give an example, we normally sell our 1-carat total weight diamond stud earrings for $2,600, but right now they're on sale for $2,210. Our diamond solitaire necklaces are priced the same way, with sizes from 1/5 carat total weight up to 7 carats total weight. So if you need a gift that says forever, make it an Underwood diamond solitaire necklace or a pair of diamond stud earrings.
Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Jingle bells, plumbing's gone astray. A burst pipe, no hot water clogged drain on Christmas Day. That's no holiday. Call Duck Duck Rooter. We're faster than Santa's sleigh.
904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hair4me.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson spoke on Monday about the team still showing fight over the final stretch of the season.
I mean, I was excited about that. You get asked a lot about your team and where we are and our record and this and that, but I mean, you guys see it when you watch the game. Our guys, they fight to the end. They don't quit. They battle. We were able to make the plays right at the end of the game. Defense stepped up huge at the end. I think it gave the guys a lot of confidence. It will give them a lot of confidence moving forward. But I've been pleased, obviously, with the effort, with the attitude of the guys, and it's been really good.
Doug Peterson, courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Frangie Carlyon, La Selva with you. We continue along. Glad you're with us on a Tuesday. Our Tuesday is always brought to you by our friends at the Nimnick family of dealerships. That's Nimnick Buick GMC. They're located on Phillips Highway. Nimnick Chevrolet is located on Cassett Avenue. Been buying my cars there since 1982. You talk about trusting them, man. I trust them. You get a car, you better get it from someone you trust. The cars matter. Don't break down. Car you can trust. Pay the right price for a car. A salesperson that'll give you the right price. That's all what happens at Nimnick. Head to Nimnick today. Proud to be a spokesman for the Nimnick family of dealerships. Jaguars have 4 games left. What do you want to see? Well, what jumps off the page for you in terms of, man, I hope this. Obviously, we all want to see them win the games. But to win the games, man, I hope this, and this happen.
I would start with, I want to see Brian Thomas Jr. get over 1,000 yards. He's at 851 right now. 6 touchdowns. I'd love to see that number come in at 1,110, something like that. So, and that's going to be tricky because you've got, Mac instead of Trevor. So obviously that's going to affect the passing game. But they connected obviously a lot in Nashville towards the latter stages of that game and the comeback win over the Titans. So, it would start there. This has obviously been a total zero of a season for the Jaguars, but at least you do have this incredible bright spot in what Brian Thomas Jr. can be moving forward. So it would start for me with him getting over 1,000, which, will give him a lot of preseason buzz around the league coming into his sophomore year.
Yeah, and I think Brian Thomas Jr. has got to be almost the first answer for everybody, doesn't he? Regardless what the numbers are. Man, oh man, Hays, I'll tell you this. I would love to see Brian Thomas Jr. get those Jamar Chase-like targets, right? Just keep throwing it to him. I mean, look, throw it and throw it and throw it and throw it to him. You're a different Here's one thing we do know 13 games in. They're a different team when he gets into a rhythm. They're a different football team. As good as the other receivers are, they don't change the trajectory of the game, do they? There's not a lot of players in the league that do that. They change the trajectory of the game when they it's hard for a receiver to start taking over a game. I thought Brian Thomas Jr. took over the game in the last 10 minutes of that game, didn't you?
Without a doubt.
I thought he took over the game.
Yeah, if you catch 8 passes in the final basically 20 minutes of a contest.
Correct.
That's taking over.
Yeah, he took over the game. So I think one for me is a whole lot of Brian Thomas Jr. I'll tell you something else. I want to see Parker Washington develop. I would love to see Jarian Jones outside some. I wonder if they'll do that. I wonder if they'll listen, the main goal is to win the game. We all know that. That'll never change. But the reality is when you're out of it, it's not a bad time to see what you got, too. Now, you got to be careful. It's not just a test case. You can't just say, okay, I'm giving Keelan Robinson 20 carries a game because he's never carried it. I want to see if he's any good at it. You got to try and win the game. But I wouldn't mind seeing Jarian Jones outside some. That I'd like to see. I'd like to see a whole bunch of Ventrell Miller. Just to really see, rather than the rotating. Wouldn't you like to see that? I'd like to see a whole bunch of Ventrell Miller. I really want to see what Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson have. The proof of how much their defensive tackles have struggled is they change who's up and down on a regular basis. They've all been healthy scratches. Big O's been a healthy scratch. Mason Smith's been a healthy scratch. Jordan Jefferson and Tyler Lacey last week was a healthy scratch. And Hayes' other games are all up. So it's clear they haven't been able to find the defensive tackle they want. So I want to see a little bit of that too. So for me, Brian Thomas Jr. really involved, right? Parker Washington. Wouldn't you like to see Parker get 7-8 targets a game too? There's enough to go around. I'd like to see Parker Washington get some too.
Yeah, I think so. Another thing that I would say on the defensive side of the ball is I would love for Roy Robertson Harris to not be third on the team in sacks still with 2.
Is he?
It feels like he's been in Seattle for 2 months since the trade. Obviously Trayvon Walker is at 8.5, Josh Hines-Allen's at 7, and those are respectable numbers. It falls off a cliff after that.
There's nobody more than 2?
Nobody more than 2. Aluakon has 1, Jarian has 1, Jefferson has 1, Lloyd 1. Armstead. At some point, is Eric Armstead going to do something? And then Ledbetter's at 1, Mason Smith's at 1.
So really, nobody's at more than 1 other than Roy.
Correct.
So
that would be something I would like to see.
So if
I would like to see the third guy have more sacks than Roy Robertson Harris, who hasn't been here in 8 weeks.
I didn't realize that other than Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen, there's nobody on the roster with multiple sacks?
Correct.
Wow.
Is that bad?
That's bad. I didn't realize. I really didn't realize that.
That's like a week 4 stat.
Where have you gone, Caleb Chase on?
Yeah.
Our nation turns its lonely eyes to you.
Well, he had about 34 sacks one game.
Yeah, he had a pick on Sunday.
Who's he playing for? The Raiders.
Yeah.
I didn't remember who he was playing for. Remember that one game like 3 weeks ago? All of a sudden, he's sacking everybody.
Right.
Oh, he's going to get his vengeance in a couple weeks.
But I do, Hayes. I think so. No, that stat shocks me. that nobody on the team.
It's preposterous.
That nobody on the team, other than Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen, has multiple sacks. That's a jarring stat. That's a jarring stat. I mean, usually you have a safety with 3 sacks because you blitzed him at the right time. You know, I mean that one surprises me.
And just to put this in perspective, opponents have attempted 441 passes on the Jaguars. Yeah. So, and those are attempted passes. Yeah. So, you know, obviously they've dropped back way more than that. Yeah. It's
I didn't know that stat.
That's a disaster.
So, do you want to see Keelan Robinson return a punt, catch a pass?
Sure. I mean, I think in a return role,
catch a pass.
Really, to be honest, now like health is really important as well. Right. Like that's something that Bears mentioned. Like we saw last night, the talented Dallas linebacker tore every ligament in his knee, and he's super talented. And so now his 25 season is probably over.
Right.
With that kind of a devastating knee injury in December. So, one thing for this is, again, you're out of it. And I'm not saying, don't play your guys. It's the NFL, and that's what you're going to do. But you just hope from a health standpoint that your core guys are able to get into the offseason healthy and that your 25 season isn't impacted because a really important cog in the machine is going to have to start the year on PUP and miss half the year.
Yeah. How about Brenton Strange?
I like Brenton Strange.
Wouldn't you like to see a handful of targets for him?
Yeah, I got a chance to talk with him after the game on Sunday, and it was good kind of getting a sense of sort of where he is in his development in year 2, and he was upset that he didn't break the tackle, which I get. I kind of thought he might come out of that one on the 21-yard gain, but yeah, he has certainly shown that. He is somebody that can work in great tandem with Evan Ingram and step in if Evan isn't available. 23 catches for 256 yards, 11.1 yards per reception. I like that average. I mean, that's a good, healthy average for a young tight end to be at 11.1. Ingram's at 7.8, 47 catches for 365 yards. Obviously, he's going to be more of the focus for defenses. He's probably not going to have as much room to run after catch as Brenton will. But, I think Brenton Strange has more touchdown catches than Evan Ingram, which is a surprise. It's 2-1. I think a continued development of Brenton Strange is certainly something I would look at. Tank Bigsby, sitting there right now at, I believe, just over 600 yards rushing, very healthy 5.0 yards per carry. 5 touchdowns. Can Tank flirt with? I don't know that he can get to 1,000 because Etienne's healthy as well. But he has a chance at it. Tyler Lacey, defensively, second-year player, is playing pretty well, active. You're seeing him around the ball making tackles. So all those guys that, are going to be entering year 3 of a rookie contract, you'd love to see that continued development.
You mentioned Bigsby, who you talked to after the game. Brenton Strange is also someone you caught up with. He's a guy that I think could be a big part of this future. Let's hear from him. After the game, Hays caught up with Brenton Strange.
We're pleased to be joined with Jaguars tight end Brenton Strange here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Brenton, great to see you. Congratulations on the win.
Appreciate it.
I know it's been a disappointing season, but what's it mean coming to Nashville and beating these guys in a big rivalry game?
They're in our division, so obviously it's an important game for us. They don't like us, we don't like them, so we wanted to come in here and just get a dub and do what we could do.
You guys were able to close the game really strong, outscoring them 10-0 in the fourth quarter to get the win. What were some keys to having that offensive success late?
Just finishing. We've been talking about it all week long, just finishing. Finish. That's the most important thing, and we're going to keep harping that for the rest of the season is finishing. That's the most important thing for us.
You had a big catch there early. How do you feel like it's going for you in terms of your progression?
Good. I mean, I wish I would have broke the tackle. I pride myself on always breaking the first tackle, and that would have been a really big game because I was looking at all the grass that was out in front of me, but he had just got to me when I turned my eyes around. So it's been good this year. I feel like I've grown a lot, but I got so much more that I can do, and I'm going to keep growing and hopefully keep being that guy for this team.
How fun was it coming in here to get a chance to celebrate a victory with your teammates?
Man, it's been a long time. It's been a real long time. So we're excited. We're going to enjoy the moment. And then when tomorrow comes around, we'll get ready for the next team.
Brenton, what has Evan meant to you, and what have you learned from him?
Man, he's meant the most to me. I came in probably just not knowing a lot, not knowing the game, and he's taught me a lot. We sit down on the plane rides, and we always watch film together. So he's a big brother to me, and I appreciate him for everything. And I can't wait for what the future has for both of us.
Brenton Strange, congratulations on the win. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Brenton Strange has more catches and yards receiving than Gabe Davis, so he has that going for him. And we'll finish obviously ahead of Gabe Davis, who's on injured reserve. So I think, I think a good season for Brenton Strange in his second year, and that's great to see. Obviously, this franchise invested a second-round pick in him. And tight ends take a while, but he's a guy going into year 3. We'll see, what Evan Ingram, if Evan Ingram is here, and I expect he will be. Obviously, he's going to be a big part of this, but it will be interesting to see, particularly if there is a coaching change in a new offensive system, if they highlight Brenton Strange and Evan Ingram at the same time and take advantage of that skill set.
Yeah, because a lot of teams use 2 tight ends for sure. But again, I think the pieces are there. I think I want to see him get better center guard. But I think Trevor's good. I like the 2 running backs. Brian Thomas Jr. is a special player. Parker Washington's coming on. A lot of people think Christian Kirk won't be on the team. I don't feel that way. I think there's a good chance he'll be on the team. I think you need another receiver. I'll be interested to see how the tackles play. And by the way, it would not shock me if Walker Little is the right tackle moving forward and Anton Harrison's the left tackle. And I know you just paid Walker a little bit. It would not surprise me if they at least experimented with that down the road. Wouldn't shock me. It'll be interesting to see where they go. Defensively, you got to find tackles. That's why I want to see Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson. That's where they've struggled, Hayes. You got to find – we know the edge guys are good. We know the linebackers, Ventrell Miller and Foye Luakon are pretty good players. Devin Lloyd's been an up-and-down player, not a bad player. I think there's some pieces there. You got to build the line of scrimmage. The final thing I'll say is what I want to see. I want to see them win the line some. I want to see them win the line of scrimmage. Look, there was a stretch of games there where they played teams that were just flat out better than them. I mean, the Packers and the Eagles and the Vikings and the Lions, that run of NFL team. And look, they got the Eagles now they're back to being an 11-2 team. They got the NFC North, which was the wrong year to get the NFC North. So they ran into some of those teams, but that's not the case at the end of the season. If they get pushed around in the last 4 games, well, it's not because they play teams that are having superior years. It's not. You can say that then. You can't say now. So I like to see them win the line of scrimmage. I really do.
And they should. I mean, like you mentioned, the last 4 opponents the Jaguars face have a combined record of 14-38.
Yeah.
So they're not winning a lot of street fights either.
Yeah. So we'll see what winds up happening. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some college football. That and more. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
A sturdy defense keeps your end zone safe like a superior fence keeps your family and pets safe.
It's fantastic.
After the game, catch the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here. And fellas, we all know that athletes train every day to perform better on the field, right? But what if you could enhance your performance in the bedroom? No training required. That's right. I'm talking about that secret weapon, Blue Chew. A chewable tablet with the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin. That ships right to your door in a discreet package. No doctor visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It's all online. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. They also have Daily Tag that contains 7 essential vitamins. And it's chewable too. And now you can try Blue Chew for the free ski. That's right, for free on me. Visit BlueChew.com and enter my promo code 1010XL. You only have to pay $5 for shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's promo code 1010XL. Let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota. Mia here. Right now, get financing as low as 0% on select new Toyota models. 0%. Plus, you get Arlington's 60-day exchange program and lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. That's unlimited time and miles. Toyotathon is on, so get to Arlington Toyota and save today. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say, "What? Huh?"
I'm so over this.
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Brandon Thomas at 342-3459.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hays' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Is your AC ready for the holidays? Bold City Heating and Air ensures your AC stays in tip-top shape. We know that a clean AC is a healthy AC. Upgrade yours for just $96 a month and enjoy free duct cleanings with your new system. Plus, ask about our 0% financing options.
Bold City AC. We got the crew. Bold City AC.
Visit boldcityac.com.
Hey, y'all. Melissa Scobie here. And you know my husband, Josh, could really kick that ball. But when it comes to working around the house, well, not so much. So when I need irrigation, drainage, or seamless gutters, I rely on John Haney's crews at Clearwater. Hit it, guys.
Clearwater Irrigation.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJax.com.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Human trafficking destroys lives. You could do something to create hope this season. Make an end-of-the-year donation to Rethreaded. Your gift helps provide employment and support services for local survivors of human trafficking. Visit rethreaded.com and click on the tab to donate.
Hey, Florida drivers, the holiday season is upon us. When celebrating, always plan ahead and know all your options. If you drink, don't get behind the wheel. Instead, designate a sober driver or catch a ride service. And if you are the designated sober driver, commit to staying sober. Besides, a DUI could cost you $10,000. Not exactly the best gift you could give yourself. Celebrate responsibly and remember to drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
I'm RJ Saunders with your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update.
For 1010XL, this update is brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. The University of Florida's baseball program has announced a new ticketing option for fans for the upcoming 2025 season, unveiling the SEC 5-pack mini plan. Being rolled out for the first time next year, the plan features reserved seating tickets to all 5 home SEC series finales. Florida will open up its 2025 home SEC slate against rival Georgia from March 21st to the 23rd. The Orlando Magic and Milwaukee Bucks do battle tonight with a trip to the NBA Cup semifinal round on the line. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. The Magic currently sit at 17-9, which is good for third in the East, and they have won 8 of their last 10 games. Right now, 74 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time to talk all things SEC. Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers with college football insider Matt Hays on The Frangie Show.
All right, let's talk a little SEC football. Matt Hays joins us now. And I got to tell you, Matt, I want to talk all about this SEC stuff, but I just saw this story that you just wrote. I know you're at a conference in Vegas these days, but apparently Rich Clark, who's now the CFP director, went off on the fact that somebody leaked that SMU had jumped Alabama. Tell me more about the story.
Well, it's so Brett McMurphy, noted college football reporter,
right.
Tweeted about 30 minutes before the last member was selected.
Right.
You know, the controversial one, SMU over Alabama, that SMU was in and Alabama was out. 30 minutes before it was actually done.
Okay.
And Rich Clark, who is the director of the CFP, is very upset about it. His quote was, "I'm furious," and they're going to look into it.
Yeah. So, what do you think? I mean, what do you? I mean, is he overreacting? I mean, what do you think?
No, I don't. I mean, look, it's the media's job, Frank, to find these things.
Sure it is.
And when it happens, it happens. I mean, could he be upset because there's only a finite number of people who know this? So yeah,
Right.
he could be upset.
Right.
A lot of them are within his world. You know what I mean?
Right,
So I think
right.
that's going to be the issue that upsets him more than anything.
Matt, did they get it right? Did they get the right 12? Yes or no? And why?
I mean, honestly, Frank, I'd go either way. I'd go either way with SMU or Alabama. But I will say this: Alabama's gotten the benefit of the doubt so many times with BCS and with the college football playoff. I mean, I don't see how that's any idea or leg to stand on when you start complaining about not getting in. They've gotten in numerous times, or at least 2 or 3 times when they probably shouldn't. And then 2 of the times won it all when they probably shouldn't have gotten it. So, look, they've been given a break in the BCS world and the college football playoff world. So I wouldn't be too upset if I was Alabama. But I will say this: there's going to be massive change to this thing.
Right.
It's going to happen. I mean, they've got to find a better way to at least make it look like it's more transparent. I mean, that's the big word here right now is transparency. Honestly, Frank, Rich Clark said something today about subjectivity. The whole thing is about subjectivity.
Right.
And he said, during the voting process, when we evaluate teams, we never talk about what that team would do against that team, how they would play against that team. He said, as soon as they start talking like that, I shut it down because that's not our job. Our job is to evaluate the data we're given. And I kind of think you have to talk like that.
Sure you do. Sure you do.
How do you not talk like that? It's a subjective process, so how do you not at least do that?
Well, let me give you 3 thoughts that I had on the air and see if you agree, disagree, or somewhere in between. A handful of thoughts. Number one, obviously they've got to get rid of the automatic seeds. I'm all for automatic qualifiers if you win your conference, but you can't get one of the top 4 seeds. They got to seed the teams the way they belong. So that's got to go away. That's A. B, I think they've got to get more teams. There's more volume. If you had, I know they're talking about 14. That's silly to me. If you're going to expand, go to 16. And if you did, then the Alabamas and Ole Miss and South Carolinas and Miamis and BYUs would all have a chance to get in. Those are the teams. So 1, expand. I think to 16, not 14. 2, get rid of the automatic seeds where Boise and Arizona State can be 3 and 4, which they should never be or should have been this year. And the other thing is, I wouldn't have a poll. I wouldn't announce a poll all these weeks before. I would announce.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's not happening either.
Yeah. So take me through all of that stuff. What do you agree with?
All right. So let's start with the total number. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think 16's happening. I'm not even sure 14 is going to happen. But I would say 14. You got a better shot at 14 than 16, obviously. As far as the polls, I completely agree with you. I don't think it should have any. I think it should just be one show at the end of the season. Boom. Here's our group.
Right.
That way, you're not beholden to anything. But they don't see it that way. They see it as a process that has to be transparent. That the people have to see where they got from one place to another. And he doesn't see it as then you're beholden to a specific spot that you can change whenever you want to change. And clearly from the poll, you can see that that's contradictory. So, I mean, there's a lot going on. And he did say that, look, we're going to do whatever the commissioners tell us to do.
All right. Which gets us, by the way, to the SEC. This is an SEC report after all. Where is Greg Sankey on where this whole thing landed? Is he upset it's only 3 teams? Will he push for more teams? Will he push for a rule change? And, oh, by the way, how did he feel when he was standing next to Kirby Smart and Kirby called him out for the bad schedule? Where's Greg Sankey on all this stuff?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a wait and see. I think they're all in a wait and see process right now, honestly, Frank. I think they're going to watch it play out, see what happens. I think a lot of them have a lot of strong opinions right now, but they don't want to say anything until the process is complete, till the game's done, the national championship's done, and then you can kind of figure out where you go from there. As far as the automatic qualifiers, I'm with you. I think the AQs, clearly you then put yourself in a position where that affects the way the second and third and fourth round play out, because Oregon as the 1 seed should not have that type of road that they have, but they have it because of the AQs.
Right.
So that's going to be – there's no doubt that will be part of the process. And Greg Sankey has said this. He told us in July, and he's been saying this for 2 weeks, Frank, or 2 years, that he preferred all at large, everybody at large, no automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the road they go down, but they clearly have to look at something like that, or at least a different way of reseeding once it comes out.
See, I don't mind automatic qualifiers. I don't mind you're automatically in if you win your league. I don't mind that. But you can't be seeded. That's the problem. If Arizona State and Boise should have been 11 and 12, they make them 11 and 12. They're in because they won the conference. That's what the NCAA basketball tournament does.
Right.
Gulf Coast gets in because they win the Atlantic Sun, but they're not seeded.
Right.
They're not seeded ahead of Duke, who finished second in the ACC.
Right. Well, they're putting a lot on the actual conference championship. It becomes a big deal that you've won the conference championship. So that gives you that bye, that first round bye. Whereas in college basketball, a conference championship doesn't mean anything.
Right. That's exactly right. All right, Matt. The bracket is set. Who do you like? I mean, is it Oregon, Georgia? Is that where we're headed? Where are we headed in this thing?
I think Georgia's got problems. Without Carson Beck, I think Georgia's got problems.
Okay.
That was an emotional, let's get through this thing. Let's win this thing. Let's do everything we can to not screw this thing up second half. And Gunnar Stockton made some great plays, not taking anything away from him. But when you got to play for an entire 4 quarters, and now people are starting to scheme you, and what you can do, especially if they get by the first game and the next team has an entire game to scheme against him, I think it's a little bit different. I think you got to start with Oregon. I think Ohio State's got a great chance too. I mean, look, we saw what happened against Michigan. It was terrible. It was brutal, but that's a really talented team.
Right.
So I would be shocked in the least if Ohio State won it.
Let me ask you this: if Georgia is as in trouble as you suggest without Carson Beck, look, SMU, Penn State, Boise State, Indiana, it's a soft bracket. Does do we look up and Notre Dame's in the title game?
Sure. I mean, at this point, I also think, Frank, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of. You look at that bracket, you can see a lot of different scenarios playing out. I could see Boise State winning a Fiesta Bowl game. Absolutely, I could. I could see Penn State go on a little run, and I've been one of the harshest critics of Penn State all season. There's a lot of different things that could happen. And quite frankly, the first game is going to be fun as heck. I mean, you got Indiana, who many people think shouldn't even be in the playoffs, going to play at Notre Dame. It would be fun as heck, man.
All right. So, but as you see I'm telling you, man, when you look at the brackets, the 3 teams that people think aren't sexy, maybe not good, but certainly not sexy, Boise State, SMU, and Indiana, Matt, they're on the same side of the bracket. That's. Yeah. I mean, so that's an easy. I mean, and if those teams are on the same side of the bracket, and if Georgia is without his quarterback, bro, I'm telling you, we could look up and it could be cheer for old Notre Dame. Right?
It could.
I mean,
it could.
You don't think so? Where do you think we're headed?
No, I think it definitely could. I just think that at this point, I think these teams are so close right now.
Yeah.
Even including Oregon too. I don't think there's anybody that's really going to stretch away from the others right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of positives about all these teams, and very few negatives.
All right, indulge my SEC snobbery just for a second.
Okay.
But I think Tennessee might beat Ohio State and Oregon. Am I crazy? Have I lost my mind to think that?
I think you've absolutely lost your mind. I think I love you to death, but I think you've absolutely lost your mind.
Okay, really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, they're not going into Columbus and winning that game.
Okay.
I think Ohio State's going to be. There's a lot of there's this thought, this narrative out there that Ohio State's done, that the loss of Michigan has tanked their season. I think it's going to be completely opposite. It's going to be a lot like a few years ago when they got in the game and nobody thought they should be in the game. They should have beaten Georgia in that game and didn't. In the semifinal in the Sugar Bowl, I believe it was. And that's the team I think you're going to see in this first round game. And I think they're going to play really well, and I think they'll beat Tennessee. And then once they get that under them, once they get a win like that under them, then that confidence comes back, and then they're a tough team to beat because they are. If you look at the rosters, roster by roster, they are the most talented team.
All right, final thing, Matt. Final thing or two. Let's quick wrap on the SEC teams who are not there. Florida had a wonderful end to their season. They're probably going to win their bowl game. He's going to win 4 in a row at the end of the year and return a really good team. What about them? Ole Miss and LSU both lose really good quarterbacks, who I think are NFL quarterbacks. Texas A&M made a run but fell a little bit short. What about those 4 teams? How good will they be next season, in your opinion?
I think of that group, probably. I want to say Ole Miss because I really like Austin Simmons, the quarterback. But it's going to be interesting to see how they respond because they put everything into this season and they did not get there. And Lane's still complaining about it. He's still publicly complaining about it. And I don't know if that might have some residual, Frank. I really think that could have some residual. The team obviously that it's clearly close to us that you got to look at is look at the way Florida played the last 3-4 games of the season. Really back to the Tennessee game. With the quarterback they have, that dude's rare. I'm telling you right now, he is. So the quarterback they have, they could do some unique things if what happens coach-wise, the entire staff, not just going there, but the entire staff operationally. We talk about this all the time. If operationally they become a legitimate SEC staff, I think they've got a chance to do something unique next year. Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be interesting to see SEC. What a season it's been in the Southeastern Conference. Matt Hays all year long talking SEC, brought to you by Underwood Jewelers. Great work, Matt. We appreciate it, buddy. Have fun in Vegas.
Okay, pal.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Hays has headlines, so stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Duval! That's right, I'm Tommy Mack, and it's all about Duval and defense. Offense, special teams, baby. Check me out every Friday from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Tacos and sports go hand in hand, literally. You can watch sports with a taco in each hand or with a taco in one hand and a surfboard in the other. Don here from Taco Lou. I love sports, and since you're listening to this station, you love sports as well. If you love sports and tacos, then Taco Lou is calling your name. We always have the game on here, or you can call in a to-go order to watch at home, or let us cater your next watch party. Catering for the holidays? No problem. Taco Lou in Jax Beach. Cheers to tacos, sports, holidays with the family, and tequila.
It's holiday season, and Nimnik Chevrolet is here for you. Whether you're making memories on the road or continuing family traditions right here in Jacksonville, you can always count on us because there's nobody but Nimnik. Now, that red tag sales event is back at Nimnik Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. And unlike most dealerships, Nimnik Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnik. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the distance. The Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. And oh, by the way, ask about 0% financing and $7,500 instant cash savings on EVs. Remember, Nimnik will always give you top dollar for your trade. So if you're looking for a great place to shop over this holiday season, there's only one answer, Nimnik, because there's nobody but Nimnik.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
My name's Jim. I'm 53 years old. There should be options in life, like ways to lose weight. Medications now feel like the only option. I mean, it sounds like a guarantee. I do have friends who have lost weight with them. I tried holding off. I did other diets, but I was miserable. I'd rather be fat and happy. The problem was I wasn't happy fat. I was about to start the meds, but then I heard of Awaken 180's GLP-1 program. Turned out it does the same thing as the meds without injecting myself for life. It absolutely worked. I dropped 45 pounds. I'm now in maintenance, and I feel better than my friends who are still on the meds. Listen, I barely know what GLP-1 is. What I do know is Awaken 180 worked for me, and I was far from miserable doing it.
Thanks, Jim. You all know our success with Awaken 180, and now with Awaken 180's GLP-1 balance, you address the root causes of weight issues. Do it naturally, then keep it off. Awaken180weightloss.com.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
As soon as possible.
at 641-1010.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light, easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Southampton invites you to enjoy a round of golf and then a round with your buds, thanks to their game day special. Every Saturday and Sunday during the season, order up 10 wings and a cold pitcher for just $22. Plus, being a member at Southampton has its privileges, like a $500 gift card when you join with a paid initiation fee. All the details are at golfsouthampton.com. Twilight golf every day with special rates after 3 o'clock. Don't forget trivia Thursday nights and music on the patio Friday night. All at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. We've got JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, let's start with the white-hot Jacksonville Jaguars. As we get ready to welcome in the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson. How do you think the Jaguars secondary will match up against them?
Well, first of all, you think the Jags are going to continue the streak, is what you're saying?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Shocked they're a 3-point underdog.
This is it's a tough matchup for the Jags. If the Jets should not be 3-10. They not with the weapons you just ran out there. That's a weird season, man. Look, if the Jets show up, but it's still NFL. If the Jets show up here, having thrown in the towel, they're coming to little old Jacksonville. They're just trying to get through the end of the season. They're fired up last week because they're playing a rival. They're playing the Miami Dolphins. If they show up here without much energy, Jags will beat them. But if the Jets bring their A game, they beat a lot of teams, not just the Jags. So that to me is the intrigue. I'll say this: I think the Jags generally fight. They haven't played very well, and they've had 2 or 3 blowouts. But for the most part, they're in every game, and they found a way to keep every game. Look, if they were a quitting team, down 23-6 against the Texans, that game would have turned into 45-13. To their credit, they turned with their backup quarterback playing. They turned 23-6 into 23-20 and couldn't get a stop at the end of the game. They'll play hard. If the Jets play hard, they're in trouble. The Jags are in trouble. If not, they aren't.
The other thing too is like Aaron Rodgers will go after Tyson Campbell, but the real concern will be whoever Tyson Campbell isn't guarding.
Correct.
Because that is going to be a very enticing matchup for Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Davante Adams or Garrett Wilson.
And you're going to have to score. You're not. I mean, when Aaron Rodgers comes in here, you're not going to score 10 points and win the game. So you're going to have to score something.
Let's get it to around the NFL. Week 14 wrapped up last night with Cincinnati scoring late to beat Dallas 27-20. The Bengals improved to 5-8, while the Cowboys also are now 5-8 with the loss. Cincinnati's still like 3 games out of the final wild card, so I think they're kind of done, but 4 games left. Maybe if they win out, they'll have a chance. Jamar Chase was phenomenal. 14 catches for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game winner from 40 yards out with 1:01 to play.
Boy, is he good?
Oh,
is he any good?
It's amazing how wide open he was for so much of the night.
How about the fact that Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Brian Thomas Jr., all went to the same school? Think about that for a second.
And you had Odell before them.
I mean, think about that for a second. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's definitely wide receiver U at LSU, no doubt about that. This coming week, what a slate of NFL games. It'll start Thursday night, but I want to start with Steelers at Eagles. Pittsburgh 10-3, Philadelphia 11-2. Some news today, Pittsburgh coach Mike Tomlin says receiver George Pickens unlikely to play with the hamstring injury.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, and it's a tough matchup because the Eagles are really good in the games on the road. Look, you know my feeling about the Steelers. I don't think they're good enough to be 10-3, but they're 10-3. At some point, you are what your record says you are. Somehow, some way, they've managed to do that. Russell Wilson's played better, but they're running into a really good Eagles team on the road. Eagles might be that Eagles-Lions NFC Championship game, if it becomes that. What a game.
Without a doubt. And the Steelers-Eagles, from a physicality standpoint,
that's right.
That will be fun to watch.
Really
that is going to be a physical game. It starts Thursday night, Rams at 49ers. The records aren't great, but this is a huge one in the NFC West. The Rams are 7-6, the 49ers 6-7. Rams playing good football, just beat the Bills, and the 49ers got a win over the Bears. We also have the Bills 10-3 at the Lions 12-1. The Bucs 7-6 going to the Chargers, who are 8-5, and the Packers 9-4 at the Seahawks, who are 8-5.
Yeah, and the reason to your point, the reason these games matter is a lot of teams that for whatever reason are still in it. The Seahawks are 8-5 and lead the division. Well, that means the Rams and the 49ers are right there. They're a couple games, 1 game back or 2 games back. That when you have a division that A is anybody's division, B, a handful of teams are starting to play well, it makes it really interesting.
If you could only watch one of these games, would you pick Steelers at Eagles or Bills at Lions?
Bills at Lions.
Yeah, me too.
Bills at Lions.
That's the one I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, Steelers and Eagles will be fun and physical.
Yeah.
But Bills and Lions, that thing will be flying all over the place.
That could be first one to 45
Yeah,
points.
really. That'd be a more fun game.
Well, let's get it to the NFL draft. Michigan star defensive tackle Mason Graham has entered the draft. Drew Rosenhaus is going to be his agent. Mason Graham is somebody that certainly could be in that top 5 range. Maybe he falls out of that. So somebody that you're probably going to see mocked to the Jaguars a lot. We'll see, and the Jaguars could play their way out of a top 10 pick. But if they settle in there somewhere between 4 and 8, Mason Graham could be a Jaguar.
You need physical players. We've been saying that, screaming it from the mountaintops, Hays. You need big, strong, physical players. You need trenches. The trenches, in my opinion, are why they're 3-10.
The Heisman finalists are out as we get into college football. Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Cam Ward, and Dylan Gabriel are your finalists. Frank, as a voter, what was it like? I know you can't talk specifically, but just generality. What was it like kind of putting your ballot together?
You know, it's interesting. I had a pretty good idea who I was voting for a couple weeks out, which isn't always the case. I always wait till the championship games are over, even when one of my guys isn't in them, because they weren't in these for the most part other than Genty. But it was very interesting because it was diverse looks. Travis Hunter is a two-way player. Jenny's a running back. Typically, and those are the two everyone talks about the most. The other guys are quarterbacks. Usually it's 4 quarterbacks. You know that? It's usually 4 quarterbacks. Maybe it's 4 quarterbacks and one outlier. So it was fun putting it together, and I go back and watch a lot of tape. I take it very seriously. I do. And it was interesting because there's such a diverse group of candidates.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's going to be fun to see.
And by the way, next Monday, I'll tell you who I voted.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we'll look forward to it. Let's get it staying in college football, beginning it to the portal. Jack Pyburn, the talented edge player for the Gators, is entering. Kind of a stunner. Pyburn was the heart of that Florida defensive resurgence. The Gators do have a crowded room, at least for now, with Tyreek Sapp, TJ Searcy, George Gums, LJ McCray, and Cameron James, but still very surprising to see Jack Pyburn moving on. Lifelong Gator fan.
I say what I said at the top of the program. I won't go through the whole segment that I did there, but I'll say in a nutshell, this is one that's unusual because he's a diehard fan. He grew up rooting for the team. He grew up going to all the games. He fought his way there. He fought his way back from an ACL. He would have had the best senior day ever like next year. So something chased him away. I said it at the top of the show. I'll say it again. Something chased him away, and that's the ills of the NIL. I'm going to guess that other players got more. Remember, this happened right after Caleb Banks said he's staying. I'm going to guess some NIL players got more money than him, and that ticked him off, and that's why he's leaving. And again, I don't have any insight on that. I'm just telling you that for a guy that's, a Florida guy, a diehard Gator who could have ended his career there, now you got to go to another town, you got to move, you got to go to another dorm, you got to meet new teammates, you got to meet new friends, you got to learn a new system. Transferring's hard, and for something to make you do that, there must have been a big disconnect between something he was promised or wanted and what he wound up getting. I'm telling you, I'll stand my ground on that without having any insight. Logic tells you that's what happened.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, and I would say that it's just a shame because from a legacy standpoint, if Billy Napier's tenure ends up becoming one of, greatness, and that's the jury is still very much out on that, but if Billy Napier ends up bringing titles to Florida and being there for a long time, no one will forget that he was an eyelash away from being fired. And Jack Pyburn would have been one of the faces of that turnaround. Lagway will be the face, but when you look at that defensive side of the ball, people would have been talking about, in Gator lore, Jack Pyburn 20 years from now.
You really wonder.
If Napier's fired next year, it would amount to nothing. But
you really wonder, and I hate this for Jack. Did he make an emotional decision? Was it a family decision? But I wonder if, he didn't get the NIL money he wanted. I don't. No one's told me that. I'm just telling you. My assumption is something had to happen for a lifelong Gator to leave when he had such a good year. He's a starter. It's not a playing time. He was starting.
Yeah. He's one of the first guys standing right next to Billy Napier in the post-game locker room speeches. He's all in.
I hope for his sake he doesn't wind up at Oklahoma and 3 years from now really regret the fact that he never had that senior day engagement.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Florida State dealing with the portal as well today. Luke Kromenhoek, the talented true freshman quarterback, has decided to enter the portal. That is one that if you're Florida State, that's going to be hard to pick up the pieces on.
That is a dagger, man, because the one hope they had, I think he was really good in that Florida game. I saw things from him I think he has a chance to be really good. And the one hope you had was, can you build around him? Now, I know Thomas Castellanos from Boston College looks like he might go there. There'll be other portal guys as well. But I think building around Luke Kromenhoek was the one chance FSU had.
Yeah, and Gus Malzahn's there now, so maybe there's some fit issue there.
That's right.
He likes certainly the running mobile quarterback, but I think Kromenhoek can move.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, again,
he's very athletic.
Yeah, I mean, he carried it 23 times, something like that, against the Gators.
Very, very athletic.
That
player.
counts the sacks,
Right.
but certainly looked like a willing runner.
Totally agree.
But you mentioned Thomas Castellanos is expected to become a Seminole, not finalized yet, but the former Boston College quarterback has thrown 33 career touchdowns, with 19 interceptions and run for 15 touchdowns in his career.
Tough, hard-nosed guy, got a little Jordan Travis in him, but he's not as good. I would think if Kromenhoek really is out, it'll be a long time before we know who that FSU starter is going to be, because there'll be somebody else in the portal that winds up there, and it'll be may the best man win, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think so. Good news for the Gator Bowl. Lane Kiffin says quarterback Jackson Dart will play for Ole Miss in the Gator Bowl. Duke starting quarterback Malik Murray is entering the portal and won't play, so Duke is going to be down their starting quarterback. But Ole Miss will get to see that explosive offense once more here in Jacksonville.
Good for Jackson Dart. It would be so easy just to say, look, I've done all I can. We have been at two schools, USC and Ole Miss. We fell short of the playoff. I'm going to be in the NFL. I'm going to go protect my stuff. He said, hell no, I'm playing. I think that is really cool on his bag. Good on him.
We continue to wait on Bill Belichick's decision on whether to go to Chapel Hill and coach the North Carolina Tar Heels. Belichick really stringing this thing along.
Yeah. Does he have an offer?
I think it's the reports are if he wants the job, it's his.
Okay.
But I think he's still clinging on that an owner will get nervous about him taking that job and say back channel it and say, look, you're our guy, hang in there. But it doesn't appear like at least to this point, Belichick is getting the NFL interest that maybe he was hoping for.
That's the thing, Hays. You'll never convince me that he wants to go to college football and recruit in the ACC rather than coaching the National Football League. But if he's not getting a sniff, and if his agent says, listen, I'm asking around, I don't think anyone's calling us, then you take the job.
Yeah. What did you hear about the manifesto?
I did not.
Well,
wow.
He
has a 400-page manifesto that he's given to the board of trustees or directors or whatever at UNC that outlines my entire plan to take over.
Wow.
And a lot of people were convinced that part of the deal is that his son becomes head coach, which obviously no NFL team would touch that.
Right. And North Carolina's not going to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
They'd have him on staff and
How
say
could you even do that?
they're
Contractually?
No, what they will. Well, there's some coaching waitings. We've had.
Yeah, Muschamp was Mac Brown's coach.
We've seen the coaching waiting.
15 years ago.
But I will say this. I think if North Carolina wants him badly enough, they'll say, listen, you can put Steve on the staff. You can make him the coordinator, and he'll get every opportunity to have the job when you're gone, but to guarantee no chance.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We didn't get to this, but UCF bringing back Scott Frost to be their head coach after Gus Malzahn left to become the FSU offensive coordinator. This one really puzzled me. Scott Frost obviously left UCF after a brilliant run to go be the coach at his alma mater. Nebraska was an utter failure and really has been out of coaching. He kind of worked for the Rams in 23.
Yeah.
Didn't really do anything this year. I was surprised by that considering there aren't that many jobs open. I know that you're familiar with Scott Frost if you're UCF, but I was underwhelmed.
I love it. I love the hire, and here's why. You're UCF. If you found somebody who created magic at your place, news bulletin, you're not going to have a lot of magic. Sorry, UCF fans, be mad at me all you want. You're not Florida. You're not Georgia, Auburn. You're UCF. So why not go get the one guy that was charismatic enough and had his coaching chops enough to give you the greatest years in your school's history?
Won you a damn national title.
But why wouldn't you go? I mean, so what else? Are you going to be the 84th team that's trying to hire John Sumrall from Tulane? Are you going to go get the guy from Liberty? Are you going to go get, it's something. I love it way more than any of those hires. Who else are they getting? Who's UCF going to get?
And Mackenzie Milton's on the staff as well, which I love that story.
Yeah,
obviously, brutal injury.
Yeah,
changed his entire career.
Yeah, but I mean, who's UCF getting?
I would have thought they would have gotten somebody that's at least coaching.
Yeah, but
I mean, an OC or something.
Yeah, I mean, I was really surprised by it. I mean, again, Scott Frost was, I want to say he was like, 14 and 29 at Nebraska. I mean, it wasn't just bad; it was awful.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see. In UCF, they're in the Big 12. It's different. I don't know. It's just not the same job that it was that he left. It hasn't been that many years, but so much has changed with UCF and their program. But we'll see. Wish him best of luck, and we'll see what Scott Frost can do at UCF. Let's get to college basketball. Jacksonville is in action tonight. JU at Florida Atlantic tonight at 7. The Dolphins are 5-4, while the Owls are 5-5.
Yeah, you know what? That's a big game for JU because that's a program at a higher league. That's a good measuring stick for JU. Before long, it's going to be conference play. Hope JU goes and gets one. That'd be fun to see.
We will get you out on our music nugget of the day. We are doing a local music flashback because on this date, 48 years ago, Kiss came to the Jacksonville Coliseum in 1976 and tore down the place. So if you were at that Kiss show in 1976, it's been 48 years to this moment that you were getting ready to go see one of the greatest rock bands of all time.
My wife saw Kiss, not that day because she'd have been 7, but my wife saw Kiss with Aerosmith. She said they were fantastic, like about 10 years
I bet you
ago.
they've come to Jacksonville like 10 or 12 times.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. And 76 would have been like their heyday.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
they'd only been around for a few years. This is, of course, Rock and Roll All Night.
Great job. Love this song. Who doesn't? Let's wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
14 weeks of the NFL season are in the books and 4 games remaining before the start of the playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs, the best bet to win the AFC and return to the Super Bowl. They are plus 160. The Buffalo Bills are plus 250 to win the conference. Baltimore is at plus 475, while the Pittsburgh Steelers are plus 850. In the NFC, the Detroit Lions are plus 120 to capture the conference and head to their first ever Super Bowl, while the Philadelphia Eagles are plus 250. Green Bay at plus 900. Vikings also plus 900. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 2,000 to win the NFC. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Deck the halls with pipes a-leaking. Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Oh, no! Don't let plumbing ruin your season. Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Let's go.
Uh-oh. Got a clog or a leak messing with your holiday cheer? Call Duck Duck Rooter. We're the reindeer of repairs. Fast, reliable, and ready to slay your plumbing problems.
Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Hooray!
904-862-6769. Or visit DuckDuckRooter.com. We're flushing your worries away this holiday season.
I'm Julie Harrell. I grew up here in Jacksonville and have seen our city grow as well as the number of car crashes. If you need help after a crash, choose a law firm with an actual office here. Lawyers you can meet with face-to-face and who specialize in personal injury. At Harrell & Harrell, we've been here for nearly 40 years, developing relationships with local doctors, law enforcement, helping people just like you. If you've been injured in a crash, call Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen energy-efficient, custom-built
custom-built replacement windows and doors. Right now, buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. The first 50 customers get a free TrueScreen upgrade, but this offer expires December 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
The 12 Days of Christmas is back and better than ever at Best Bet Jacksonville. From December 12th to the 23rd, we're lighting up the tables with our much-anticipated High Hands promotion, giving away over $330,000 in cash and prizes. The excitement continues to grow each day, starting at $1,200 and climbing up to $2,300. And the chance to set sail on a card player poker cruise. Explore all the excitement at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 47th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget, and with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, open 7 days a week in December.
What to get, friends, family, and loved ones this holiday? Prosper here, listen to the drill now through Christmas to win gifts from our holiday gift guide sponsors. Each winner eligible to win a grand prize of $1,000 in jewelry from Beard's Diamonds.
Now, the Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Although in cooler temperatures in Tennessee, the Young Guns brought the heat when it mattered most in the contest. Tank Bigsby would rumble, bumble, and score an 8-yard touchdown for the Teal and Black in the fourth quarter, making the score 10-6 in favor of Jacksonville with 6:46 left in the game. The Tank Bigsby score is your Performance Painting Play of the Game.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting!
The Money Pages brings you the Red Zone featured player of the week. Number 1, Jaguars running back Travis Etienne Jr. Travis played college ball for the Clemson Tigers and was drafted by the Jags in the first round in 2021. Pick up this week's Jags game program with a commemorative ticket of Travis Etienne inside. Download the Money Pages app for weekly specials. Money Pages, official sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Joint replacement surgery is always a tough decision, but relief from chronic pain may be just around the corner. Dr. George Barry here, and there's a lot to consider to make sure you get the proper diagnosis and best path back to the range of motion and mobility you had. Age, lifestyle, and overall health all play a part. Let the team at Barry Orthopedics give you a full analysis to help you make the best decision. Log on to BarryOrthopedics.com or call the office to make an appointment. With offices across Jacksonville and ready to help you feel good again, we'll get you back on the road to recovery at Barry Orthopedics.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars tight end Evan Ingram with thoughts on the offense under Mac Jones.
I definitely think it's just kind of everybody kind of settling in. Obviously, we'd love to start faster and get the ball rolling faster, but that's kind of been the story for us on offense as during the season is we kind of get going later in the game. So I think it's just credit to him. Just continue to battle, continuing to stay in the game, continuing to overcome adversity, and obviously overcoming bad plays and then staying composed in the good plays. And Mac has done a great job at that these past 2 weeks for sure.
Evan Ingram on the Jags offense with Mac Jones. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jax cool since '87.
All right, where have we been today on the program? Well, we talked about the portal. Luke Kromenhoek leaving FSU, and Jack Pyburn, the Jacksonville kid, diehard Gator fan forever. After 3 years at Florida, coming back from that ACL injury, really impacting the team's turnaround this year, says he will leave Florida. I made the point here, and I'll make it again. I don't know the inside. I'm not connected down there in that way, but I promise you this is NIL related. And at somewhere along the line, he didn't get he either didn't get what he wanted or what somebody else got, and that's what happens because this kid is too Gator. He loved the school too much. He grew up rooting for him too much to just suddenly leave. And all of a sudden he's out. So, again, that's the downside of NIL as I see it. We talked about the Jags. What do you want to watch? I think we all agreed we want to see more Brian Thomas Jr., and we hope some of the young players develop. So we talked a little bit about that. Matt Hays joined me to talk SEC football and how Greg Sankey feels about it all. Matt's feeling is wait it out and see what happens, and that's where we've been on the coast of the program today. Who wins the national championship right now? Now do you know the bracket?
I will say Boise State.
No, you won't.
I will go with
Oregon, the chalk.
No, I'm not going to pick Oregon. I'm going to you know what? I'll take Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
I'll take Notre Dame to win the
cheer for old Notre Dame. What about it, JJ?
I'm going to say Georgia.
I'm kind of like you.
I loved the backup.
Yeah.
And I thought Beck was crap. When the backup came in, he had a stronger arm than Beck. I don't know if he can read the game better, but I that injury doesn't affect me picking Georgia at all.
Yeah, my upset pick is still Tennessee, but I might pick Georgia too. By the way, speaking of picks, we didn't do them last week. 2 weeks ago, I made a little run 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I had a 9-point week. We'll go over it all.
Dang.
I had a 9-point week, and what it's left us with, where no one's still catching Hayes. But at least I made our battle for second a little bit better, JJ. You're still in second.
Thank goodness.
But I made I was 6-2, a 9-point week. Had a couple GP.
We didn't do picks last week.
No, we didn't. So this was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. We were at doing toy drive.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
okay.
so 6-2, 9 points. JJ was 4-4 with a 5-point week. Hays Carlyon was 3-5 with a 4-point week. You waited long enough to have a bad week. So
this one's going to be tough with these NFL spread or the NFL slate this week.
It'll be
this
fun,
week though. I mean, if you love the NFL this week, it's got so many great.
Do you think they did that on purpose, knowing college is over?
No, because I don't think.
No,
well,
it just played out that way.
I think so because Pittsburgh's a surrise. Being as good as
I guess
they are.
Bills, Lions, you knew.
Yeah,
Eagles,
Bills, Lions, you probably would have known.
Chargers, Packers at Seahawks. That you wouldn't have known. The Seahawks would have been 8-5.
Yeah, Chargers Bucks is now a really meaningful game.
Mm-hmm.
You may not have been able to predict that. So no, but
you're right.
But it's a great week. I mean, like we went over in the Thursday night game. I mean, 7-6 versus 6-7 is normally not must see, but in that NFC West, it's wide open, and the Rams are playing great. You get to watch that offense with Nakua and Cooper Kupp and Kyron Williams, and then the 49ers showed some life last week. So, can Brock Purdy, manage to get a win there? And that Thursday night game I'm really excited about. But certainly Buffalo Detroit is look, it could easily be the Super Bowl preview. I think the Chiefs will probably make it because they don't ever lose.
Right,
but
Chiefs, right. But you're right about that. So it's gonna be. It'll be. There's no question about it. It'll be fun. So, fun NFL weekend for sure. It is weird that I don't know. There's a side of me that thinks it's been a long year. The Jags. There's 2 weeks in London. It started in July. Yet all of a sudden, the other side of me says you blink and it's almost over. The whole the college season really zipped by.
It really did. And there is something like when you've got 5 games left, it feels like, it's so much long. Then you get, for some reason, like this week with there only being 4 left.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, wow, now it's almost over.
Yeah.
Like I've totally just one game was played, but now all of a sudden it's like, oh, the season's about over.
Yeah. So it's a weird dynamic. It really is a very weird dynamic.
Can I give you some late breaking, sad baseball news for Braves fans?
Yes.
This was expected. Max Fried not re-signing with the Braves, but he is now a New York Yankee.
He did go to the Yankees.
8 years, $218 million.
Max Fried chose the Yankees. I thought he might choose the Red Sox. I think they were in it. But he chose the Yankees.
8 years for Max Fried. Wow. Good for him.
Again, I told you at the top, we didn't get into it today. And you and I are on different sides of the world.
Yeah, but I see your point always.
Because there's so much money. Let's put it this way: if the disparity was causing it before, now the disparity is just going to be bigger because the cheap teams aren't spending much more. But like there was a time, and again, I'm bemoaning because I'm a Pirates fan. But there was a time I looked up, JJ, and the Pirates were spending $60 million, and whoever was spending $200, right, or whatever. Well, now whoever is spending $350, and the Pirates are still spending $60.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a floor.
Yeah. Well, that's right. A floor would be fantastic, So, but
I don't like that. I do like that a team like the Mets, who hasn't won in 40 years, can get a new owner and the guy be like, hey, I'm just going to buy everybody that I can. Well, this team needs to win. I appreciate that can happen.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. I don't feel that way. But I'll say one thing I like about you. You and I are never going to agree on that one. But one thing I like about you that I like a lot, it pisses you off when people go get down on baseball. I mean, it pisses you. I see
non-baseball people.
Yeah,
like if you have issues with the game, I appreciate that because you're a fan. But it's when people who clearly don't even care about the sport want rule changes, and it's like, well, will you watch when they change those rules? No. So why do you even care?
But you ever notice that, Hayes? It pisses him off.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's fiery.
Yeah, but
it's not just baseball.
But when people dump on baseball, he's ready to fight. I love that.
Commissioner J.J. LaSelva.
Yeah.
There's not too many of us left, so I know.
I'm with you, but I love that. I mean, he's ready. He's ready to fight.
Unlike Rob Manfred, who wants to. Yeah, that's the thing. Like when we're battling our own commissioner, it's the sport's in a rough spot.
I still don't understand why you guys didn't want the golden at bat.
And did you hear what he said, by the way? Like they re-asked him about it recently, and he's like, "I don't think you'll have to worry about that." It's like, because you didn't have to say that, and you got so much backlash because you just could have kept your mouth shut. I can't stand the guy.
Golden at bat. I told you I want the silver at bat, the bronze at bat. I wouldn't mind a zinc at bat. Okay, how about 8 of them, right? Anytime you feel like it.
Frankincense and myrrh at bats.
Right. Anytime you feel like it, let's throw Aaron Judge up there. Yeah. Don't worry about where at the bottom of the order. We're going to put Aaron Judge up there. That's what we're going to do. That was pretty funny. So, all right, we're almost out of time here. I do want to remind you, tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Then on Thursday, we're back to our normal Thursday time, 2 to 4, which is what we do on Thursday. We get set for another Jaguar weekend. And we'll say this. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. We haven't really gotten into the next week games. We look back. There is intrigue when Aaron Rodgers comes to town.
Right.
I mean, that's a fun weekend.
You might be watching one of his last starts in the NFL, and he is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
There's no question. He's one of the 2 or 3 greatest quarterbacks of the last 50 years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some really good quarterbacks the last 50 years. And he's other than Brady and Manning, is he the greatest quarterback in the last generation? He's certainly in the conversation. No question. So he's coming to town. That'll do it for our program. Don't go to where Rick Ballou comes up right now. He goes into the night. We're out of here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.